Sector.
But there's a third one there too.
Good evening, everybody. Madam Clerk?
We are up to manager.
All right. Let's go with the city manager's report.
All right, up first, we have a presentation on the open space referendum by our CFO, Mr. Manning.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Here tonight to be talking about the open space referendum that'll be on the November ballot. But before I get into the referendum, just want to talk about one thing, and that's just want to talk for a minute or two about flooding in Hackensack. Now, the last 6 weeks, we've had an unbelievable amount of rain. Okay, in fact, in New York City, September 2023 was the fourth wettest month on record going back to 1869. Yeah, that's how much rain we got in September. And around Hackensack, if you go back only 2 short years ago, summer of 2021, we got rain all that summer, and you remember we got an awful lot of complaints from residents talking about flooding, and they were true. Flooding was horrible. Come to the meeting, what are you doing about it? And we would say, we're working on it, we're in the middle of a plan. But the flooding in 2021, which culminated in Hurricane Ida on September 2nd, 2021, which was Vinny's first day. And if you compare that to September of 2023, I'm not saying that there was no flooding at all, but the improvement was significant, okay? We addressed flooding as a quality of life issue back in 2019. We came up with a financial plan on how to address it. We've allocated a lot of money, a lot of resources, not counting the Green Street project. Since 2019, we've allocated $56 million toward it, and it's been a success. Okay, flooding is better than it was. Still a lot of work to do. Okay, and we admit that, but we're working on it. The plan's in place. Contracts are still moving along. The reason I bring that up is because in September of 2023, when we met and we talked about flooding in the city of Hackensack, and we were talking about how it's so much better than it was, until we talked about Fashini Park. Fashini Park still floods. Big problem. Okay, right now we're doing construction on fields 8, 9, and 10. We're doing those fields because those fields don't flood. But if we're going to go anywhere, if we're ever going to think about moving beyond fields 8, 9, and 10, we have to address the flooding problem in Fashini. Now in 2019, when we took on flooding in the city as a whole, it started with a financial plan because we knew it was expensive. There's no cheap way of doing it. Costs don't get cheaper as time goes on, costs go up. But we came up with a financial plan on how we would be able to address it without raising taxes. That's what's needed for Fashini Park. How do we address flooding in Fashini Park without raising taxes? Okay, and this is the lead-in to the Open Space Trust. Now in 2018, voters approved the Open Space Trust referendum. In fact, they approved it in 2018 by a 2-to-1 margin, 5,537 yes votes to only 2,504 no votes. Okay, at that time we put a 5-year sunset clause on it. Here we are 5 years later, so it'll be on the referendum again, and we're asking voters to consider voting and approving it. Okay, because the Open Space Trust is our financial plan on how we intend to address flooding in Fashini Park going into the future. Okay, when you have an Open Space Trust, okay, the trust takes 1 penny for every $100 of assessed value. Average home in Hackensack, that comes out to about $34 a year. Puts it into a trust fund, and the trust fund can only be used to either buy open space property or buy property for recreation purposes, or develop acquired property for open space or recreation purposes. And our plan is to use the proceeds from the open space trust to pay down the debt service when we take on the flooding problem in Fashini. This way, it won't go to property taxes, okay? Similarly, the financial plan to address the flooding in the city involved using the iBank, which was a godsend because 3/4 are interest-free, and we're seeing interest rates now creeping up to 5%, so the savings there is immense. Then there's the principal forgiveness and the grants that we were able to get to address the flooding. Similarly, we're looking at Fashini, and we're looking to use the proceeds of the Open Space Trust as the financial tool to be able to accomplish the flooding issue that goes on there, okay? So again, it'll be on the referendum, it'll be on the ballot at the November 7th election. And let me just make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, one other thing. In 2018, when the voters first passed the referendum, the municipal tax rate at that time was 1.594. Okay? Today, in 2023, the municipal tax rate is 1.276. Okay, the municipal tax rate has come down considerably since 2018, and people should consider that when they're deciding whether or not to vote for the referendum. I've said the Open Space Trust is one of the best financial accomplishments of this administration. Okay? And if we can use that to address the flooding issue in Fashini, that's a home run for everybody. Okay? Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Question, Pat?
Okay.
Sounds like another good plan.
Okay. How's it
I
look?
wondered if that's something prior to the election, can we do like robocall in that or anything that might help?
Well, I heard, there was an article that appeared in Hackensack Chronicle. I'm going to talk to Nick Bond to see about getting it run again. Okay. It didn't work out with a newsletter. Kind of hoping we were going to have a newsletter going out. We were going to put it in there. When the resolution to put it on the ballot was passed back in June or July, okay, there was a very good article that came out in the Hackensack Chronicle. So I'll be talking to Nick Bond about getting that run again.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and if we do go, if the city does do something like a, Nixle or whether it's a robocall or whatever,
Yep.
remind them to vote and speaking, we need like a short-term little thing talking about how important this
Yep.
is.
And if you come across any residents have any questions, you can give them my number. I'd be happy to answer.
Yep.
Okay?
Thanks, appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
For discussion tonight is a resolution regarding in 2026 will be the 250th anniversary of the United States. And this resolution, because Hackensack is a huge part of the history with the United States and America, with the Revolutionary War and countless other things that occurred in this area, we are appointing Al Div and Allison to be on a committee for the celebration in 2026, along with the Revolution, which is something sponsored by the state. Number 3 is a resolution regarding the contract settlement between the DPW and sanitation employees. Number 4 is a resolution regarding South Bergen JIF membership renewal. This is a standard thing that needs to be done by resolution for us to get our rates for the coming year in 2024 with the JIF. Last but not least is the CSO Stormwater and Parks update. Chris Wheaton, our city engineer, is at a conference, so Ryan Westra, our project manager, will handle.
Good evening, everybody. To start off, we have our project table. Only a couple changes to, I think the City Hall roof. The work is substantially complete. We just had some weather delays that's gonna extend the duration. That's about it. Go on to the next one. CSO for the Anderson Street drainage area. The test pits were completed, and we're scheduling meetings with the other public utilities due to the relocation of their mains, PSE&G and Veolia. They're on board, they're cooperating, so it's just a matter of scheduling who's going to move first and when. PSE&G gas needs to move first in the Clay Street, down the Clay and Railroad area, and then once they're relocated, then Veolia can come in and do their relocations. As far as Clay Street Contract 3, that is pretty much wrapped up. Veolia work is completed, and the prime contractor, New Prince, has finished their punch list, and they also completed they're going to complete their paving this week. They milled today in the area, Park Street, Railroad, Clay Street, so it's going to get finished up this week. The Voorhees pump station, we still have some electrical issues, but I think we got it dialed in now. We had a plan of having PSE&G directly reduce the voltage coming in, but that opened up an issue with the automatic transfer switch. We were going to need to have a transformer to reduce the voltage anyway, which opened up a whole other can of worms. So we're back to reducing the power with a transformer directly to the station itself, and we should have an estimated cost by the end of the day tomorrow from J. Fletcher Kramer.
So are we replacing the panel?
No, the electrical panel has already been replaced, so we just need a transformer to reduce the voltage coming in.
But we had to replace the panel.
Yes, that was part of the original
That's right.
upgrades. Yep. All new services are run. The pump station is on site and all hooked up. It's just we gotta reduce the voltage. The CCTV and cleaning efforts in the Green Street area have been progressing very well. We have over 88,000 of the 124,000 feet have been completed. They're working in the Green Street area this week. We found several utility crossings through our culvert that I think have probably contributed to that area of flooding for the last couple decades that we're working on getting removed out of the way. Those crossings come low in the pipe, and once you get debris, it just dams up and causes major problems. It looked like they're abandoned gas services for some of the industries over there. I contacted PSE&G. We're going to meet out there to confirm that they are indeed abandoned, and we'll have our contractor just cut them out of the way. So, okay. And we actually spoke with one of the residents at the corner of Green in Kansas, and over the weekend, his first time in I don't know how long, he said he hasn't had water in his basement. So, yeah. And even though the street did flood a little bit, it went down with quick time. It was probably the tides. So we're moving along good over there.
This is one of the things on tonight that we're looking at a change order for, I guess, for Suburban.
Well, it's going to be for the contractor and Suburban as well to basically max out the Vortex's contract to continue with the cleaning that they're doing and expand their area of cleaning.
So the fact that it's being extended is, I mean, if we're going to expand the area, that should be a new contract. But if this is because of delinquencies on our part.
No, it's just to keep going and expand the area.
And we're treating
clean.
it like a change order.
Yes, it's increasing the quantities because we already have unit prices that are competitive for it.
I'm not thrilled with the bookkeeping we're doing in all of this, but I think we
Okay.
need to take a hard look at it.
Not a problem. Okay. Parks. Carver Park, the demolition began 9/28. The contractor finally got their zoning permits approved the end of last week, so they were able to submit for building and electrical permits, which they did today. Thursday, they have a rep from Musco, which is the lighting contractor. They're gonna come in and take a reading for the existing lights so that they have a baseline and for when the new lights get installed. During a unrelated meeting with Recreation, we found out that the way the contractor has their silt fence up, it's blocking people from cutting through the park from First Street to Second Street. So we're gonna have that opened up. We already reached out to them, so they're gonna open it up for the pathway to go all the way around, so that people could walk through the park unobstructed. Johnson Park Sports Facility, the soil compaction is still ongoing, and we're still moving forward with design of the facility as well as the administration building. Fashini Park, the DEP permit comments have been addressed, and they were deemed administratively complete in the end of September. And then they have like I think a 40-day period, review period after that for once we will get our approval. We also had a progress meeting on the 23rd of October to discuss with the city and the engineer to discuss the amenities for the improvements to 7, 8, 9, or 8, 9, and 10. So we're going to get a packet together and then distribute to Recreation and the council so we can make some decisions on some of the improvements that need decisions. Next is just a reminder that the rain barrels are still at Carver Park until November 7th, so if you haven't, go take a look at those while they're still up. Construction status for some of the paving projects. The Summit Passaic to Spring Valley is going to be wrapped up by the end of this week. The last few blocks have been milled and are going to be paved, I think, either tomorrow or Thursday. The 2022 city resurfacing, those roads that were awarded have been completed. And then to your right on the screen, you'll see a long list of roads that PSC&G will be resurfacing, which they have started this week. And they're going to mill and pave as a result of their gas main infrastructure improvements. So that's a list of 17 roads that they're paving for us. And Debbie, I will double check the list for the election day.
Thank you.
Because currently they're shown to be finished before then, but
Yeah.
I think we're good, but I will double check.
No, shut up.
Yeah, we shut it down. The other projects, the intersection improvements at Summit and Passaic, as well as the pedestrian signals at Beach and First and Central and First. The underground work has been completed. The not so good news is the lead time for the black powder coated signals. It's quite significant, so we're just waiting on them from the supplier, and we're pushing to get them to come in as soon as they can, but it's quite a long. It's about 30 weeks at this point.
Ran into this on Main Street.
Yeah.
So we attributed that to COVID, so what's the problem?
Yeah, they haven't listened with these signals. I reached out to some other towns that I found out they were doing signal projects, and they have the same issue.
So we're just leaving the old ones up until then?
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. So everything's in ground. So when they come in, we just
problem because we were adding new ones, so we had
Yes.
to, you remember.
these the old ones are. I mean, the only for the pedestrian signals, there's 2. We're adding more, so there's still the 2. But the signal at Passaic and Summit is still active. So
So we are adding a couple new ones.
the pedestrian signals,
That's
yeah.
just-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. City Hall projects, John, are on the roof. The roofs are substantially complete. The contractor is doing some punch list items. The major outstanding things that are left to install are the flashing, all the metal basically, the flashing and some new ladders that we're having installed. Over the last 2 weekends, we had some leaks at the firehouse that the contractor is addressing. They reached out and had a couple contractors come in for some possible remediation of any damp drywall and tiles and stuff like that. So they are on that, so we're going to deal with that as it comes up. John Earl, the demolition has begun. As you see in the photos, the first floor is pretty much gutted. We're moving along with the demo. Bathrooms are ripped out, the back offices are ripped out. They ripped out the loading docks, levelers that they're going to replace, or just put with new concrete decking. So they're moving along. We have our progress meeting on Thursday, or bi-weekly.
Any better condensing the schedule? Do you know?
We're still working with the contractor. He's still kind of giving us,
I
but
mean,
we're
that's
reaching
fine,
out.
He's doing the work. We want wanna see these things happening in
Yes.
parallel, but that's the only way to schedule something.
Yes, we're reaching out daily.
Keep us posted on anything.
Yes, and like I said,
Any help you need from us.
we have our weekly, bi-weekly meeting with them scheduled Thursday this week, so hopefully we'll have better news after that.
Do you think it's just that they don't have the staff? I mean, what?
No, I think it's just the beginning of a project and they're getting their subs all in order. So I'm hoping by next week you'll see a lot more activity there. For the next item that we need some input from the council is the design at the new building department is when you walk in, there's hardwood floors there, and we're gonna put the seal on the hardwood floor. So we have some options. A is the colorized version that you see most prevalent on city vehicles and in the building. B is just the outline in black, and then C is blue. So,
I like the blue bill.
yeah, that's what we figured, but we had to make sure. Okay. So, and then once we give the contractor this, he'll give us a couple renderings just so we can make fun on color shading and type of yellow, things like that. Next, Atlantic Street Garage, I believe. Atlantic Street Garage, we had a final walkthrough on the 20th. That was, we only had a couple items in the punch list. The new entrance is finally open. We got all the signage in. It seems to be doing great. I use it a lot when I'm riding through over there. So that's it. And on Main Street, the only other small update is the banner poles that were there. We finally got the bases installed on them, so we have decorative bases now, cover the bolts and everything. We're still waiting on the tree grates, but that's another long, not as much as the signals, so I'm hoping within the next couple of months we have the tree grates in, and we're still following up with the contractor on that. And then the fire department headquarter remediation, we're still plugging along. We had the second round of injection and recovery on 10/10, and that project's going well. We're still getting product out of it. The initial estimate was to do, I believe, 5 rounds of injection and recovery, and we just finished the second one, so we're gonna monitor it as we go. And that's it.
Thank you, Ray.
You're welcome.
Let me know through email or a phone call, whatever, when the opening at Crawford Park is.
In the fence.
I'm sorry?
In the fence?
Yes.
Yes,
When
yeah.
the opening is complete, so that I can
Absolutely.
notify, the proper people
Mhm.
that it is. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Brian. That's all I have, man.
Awesome.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg is absent. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public would like to speak right now, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Blanche Stewart. I have a question about Carver Park. When will that be completed? We've missed 2 summers of summer league.
Ryan still here?
Yeah, the overall completion is the spring.
This spring?
Yes.
Okay, so definitely before summer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Motion closed to the public, please. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg is absent. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, we'll be back at 8 o'clock. From the Majestic Elks, are you expecting a lot more people? Because
Yeah.
okay, good. I was gonna say, because you're early, I didn't know. I was gonna say, if this was everybody, I was gonna give you the opportunity to do the proclamation now, but we'll wait for everybody else. So we'll start the new meeting at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Yeah. To adjourn.
Need a motion to adjourn the executive session?
Before we adjourn, Steve?
Yes, as per usual, we did speak about a couple of cases. We spoke about the new lawsuit filed by Arcolo regarding the Sears site. I believe we spoke about a case filed by Mr. Vasquez. I think that was it, right?
That's it.
Yeah, I think those were the 2. Thanks.
Okay, motion to close the executive session.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg is absent. Deputy Mayor Canestrino? Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. Motion to close the council of the whole?
Well,
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg is absent. Deputy Mayor Canestrino? Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye. Okay, we'll see everybody in a half hour, 8 o'clock.